So, as we have gone through all of the, sorry, I'm just trying to mute you. Oh. Okay. As we've gone all through the learning process, I thought we'd put it all together this week. So we are going to begin semi-supine, a little bit of breathing to start with, and then we'll try and link all those things that we've been doing over the past few weeks and see if we can vinyasa with proximal stability. So it is possible. So just easing back to your semi-supine position. And just as you release down to the floor, feel free to pop any supports under your head or under your feet if you need a little bit of release. But once you've settled into this position of connection, releasing to the floor, I just want you to place your hands somewhere on your tummy. And as you acknowledge that as the hands go onto the tummy, maybe you'll breathe in, maybe you'll breathe out, just allowing the tummy to drop down towards the back of the spine. Breathing in. Just notice that as you breathe in, this gentle rising of the belly into the hands. And then as you breathe out, the releasing of the belly away from the hands. Now, initially, this might not feel very natural. If you've been racing around, getting yourself to the spot in your living room or wherever you are in your house. But very often this is the way we breathe. We're not really breathing fully into our bodies. So we're just basically connecting to the floor, trying to stabilize the breath. So stay with it. It'll get easier. And this belly breath is the kind of fast tracking to release. So if you think as you start to be a bit more comfortable with it, as you drop the belly down towards the back of the spine, you're just engaging rectus abdominis. So as you drop the belly down, there's that kind of shortening at the front, the zipping up of your front pubis. And as the belly lifts up into the hands, that gentle input of breath. Just taking a couple more of those, just making sure that you fully complete the breath by actually encouraging that zipping up through the front of the pelvis, front of the pubis. And then the next time you exhale with that zipping up, as if you're putting on your tight jeans, keep the tight jeans on, but bring your hands to the sides of the ribs. Now from here, I'm going to get you to breathe in and see if you can send the breath into the side ribs. Or the front or the back, anything will do. And then as you breathe out, draw the side ribs into the midline. So ideally we're looking for up and out with the breath, if that's possible. And if it feels impossible to isolate the breath just to the ribs, of course, you can bring a little bit of breath into the belly as well. But again, just this sense that you're linking in to this core stability, even through the movement of the breath. So the breath in will potentially draw the back of the body off the floor, the breath out, allow the back of the body to release to the floor. So making sure that you complete each exhale, knitting the rib cage in, drawing the rib cage down towards the navel, and then expanding as you breathe in. Okay, we'll take 2 more of these breaths. And then just completing, finishing the next exhale by drawing the ribcage to the midline. And as you keep that ribcage at the midline, release the hands. Then as you breathe in, you're going to lift the arms up to the ceiling. As you breathe out, you're going to lower the arms down. And you're going to add in that same idea that the breath in expands through the front and the sides of the body, probably more front, and the breath out, you close the body to the midline, zipping up through those tight jeans. Couple more times like that. So knowing that this proximal stability is completely natural. It's not something I've invented, it's something that the body does normally, everyday basis. Okay, make the next time you lower the hands down on the exhale, your last movement, keep the connection to the front of the body and just float the arms on the inhale up to the sky. Exhale here, relaxing the shoulders. And then the final little movement we're going to do is breathe in, take the arms wide into a T shape. And then breathing out, drawing everything to the midline, including the arms this time. So breathing in, you're expanding to the side. Breathing out, drawing back to the midline. Let's take a few more times like that. Breathing in. And breathing out, back to the midline. Okay, we'll do the next one as your last one like this. Again, maintaining that stability. I'm just going to, as I inhale, I'm just going to let my arms just drop down to the sides of my body. Keeping the stability in the center, taking the arms like into angel's wings and sliding them out into the T position again, but maintaining my proximal stability. Then I'm going to heel toe my feet as wide as the edge of the mat. Knees are still in the air. And inviting weight into the big toe side of the right foot and the little toe side of the left foot. I'm going to ease my knees over to the left. Back I go to the midline, reaching into the feet, making sure that in the change of the breath, I'm connected to the feet. And then as I exhale, I'm inviting weight into the big toe side of the left and the little toe side of the right. Coming back to extending through both, and then just taking a few more times, maybe allowing that full movement from the feet, through the legs to the pelvis, through the pelvis to the spine, and then eventually through the spine to the head. It's like little ease from side to side. Now, just for ease of you being able to see me, next time your legs move to the left, just stay in that lovely releasing twist. You're going to place your left hand to the inside of your left thigh. Now, again, I'm not just going to place my hand there. I'm actually going to slightly press my hand into the inside of the thigh. So I've got a bit of stability there. Then I'm going to invite the weight into the little toe side of the right foot. So the right knee rises up towards the ceiling. Doesn't have to go all the way. Exhale, slowly ease the right knee back towards the left heel, inviting weight through the inside of the foot. So just be careful with this one. If you've got any pain into that glue, that maybe you don't take the leg the full way, knee to the ceiling, you just take it a little way. But you've still got this connection, gentle press of the hand into the inner thigh and the inner thigh on that left side into the hand. We'll just take one more. And then releasing the right knee towards the floor into the big toe side of the foot. You're then going to extend that right leg out along the floor. So digging the heel into the floor. From here, I'm going to take this into osteopath. So I'm going to take it into tree pose first. So I'm going to press my left foot into the right inner thigh. And then I'm going to continue to roll my knee up towards the sky. And then from here, keeping my left side, the left shoulder, the left arm on the floor, I'm going to take my left leg across the body into osteopath. Now again, remember, you can either take that left leg across to the point at which you're no longer able to twist, or if you feel you want to take it a little bit deeper, bend into the right knee. So bring a little bit of bend into the right leg, dig the right heel into the floor and tuck the right hip under to create that deeper twist to the right. So just doing where you feel you're okay. And remember, you've always got your lift at the front of the pubis and your knitting of the rib cage to help you out. Now keep that left arm on the floor, still got that proximal stability, and start to slide it up alongside of the ear, just as far as you feel comfortable. So you've now got a little bit more release into that left side body. Take a couple of breaths. And then by all means, as you ease back to the center, slide the arm back out in line with the shoulder. Bring the right foot to the floor semi-supine and open the left knee out to the side. So I've lifted my pelvis off the floor and swung my pelvis back in line with my spine. So I'm into lovely eye of the needle position. Now, you know what I'm like? I love this comparison. So what I want you to do is release your right leg first, just the left leg first, slide it along the line of the floor. That's the one that you've been activating. And then just notice as you slide the right leg out alongside it, the difference between the sides. And then from there, take both arms up and overhead, reaching all the way out through that left side. And it's up to you. If you want to take it further, you can point through the left toes and reach through the left fingertips, and maybe even take a hold of the left wrist with the right hand and just deepen the stretch. Just notice how willing that side is to open. And then as you release from the left, now I don't want you to push this right side, but I want you to notice how unwilling the right side may be to come into that extension. You might find there's a few more blockages there at the moment. So don't push it too hard. We want to do the opening moves first. So once you've had a little go, release, bring the arms back round out to the side, big circles, slide the left foot back to semi-supine and then the right. And then just heel toe the feet into that wide leg position. Send the legs over to the right, inviting the weight, big toe side of left foot, little toe side of right foot. And then from there, just as we did on the opposite side, placing the right palm inside of the right leg with a little bit of activity. So you're not just letting that leg completely let go. There's a bit of activity going on there. And then you're going to invite the weight into the little toe side of the left foot, allowing the knee perhaps to slide up to the ceiling or maybe not. As you exhale, you're going to lower that left knee back down towards the right heel, moving into the big toe side, the inner spiral of the left foot. Do that a couple of times. So you're rolling through the foot to the little toe side of the foot, knee going into the air, and then reversing the movement, but purely on the left. Stabilizing through the right. So making the next one your last one, finishing with the left knee, drawing down towards the right ankle, and then from there, take that left leg and extend it along the floor. Once you've done that, flex into that left foot and slide the right foot inside of the left inner thigh in lying down tree pose. Make sure that you're lengthening out through the spine and then bring that right foot on top of the left thigh so that you take the right knee up towards the ceiling. We're changing direction for the twist. So you're going to slide the right arm out in line with the shoulder and you're going to take osteopath, bringing the left arm outside of the right leg, guiding the right leg across the body to the left, taking that, tucking under if that feels right for you, bending into the left knee and digging into the heel, but be extra careful and don't just feel you have to do it. From there, you're going to slide your right arm, keep the right arm on the floor, and if you can, keeping the right arm and the back of the hand on the floor, can you slide that right arm into a V shape? Again, just be aware there's a lot of extra extension coming out of the back of the body if you do that. If it's not right, take it back in line with the shoulder. We'll take a couple of deep breaths there. And then from there, the reason why I get you to do that, if you had your arm off the floor, it's not as stable. With the arm reaching down into the floor, you've got that level of stability. From there, I'm going to slide my arm back down to the side of the hip. As I release, I'm going to turn into eye of the needle. I'm going to bring my left foot to the floor. I'm going to lift my hips, my pelvis from the floor, keep my right ankle moving in front of the left leg, and I'm in eye of the needle position. Okay, so just as we did on the other side, just let's challenge, let's experiment as to how willing the sides are to move now. So if you want to just release your right leg, extend it out along the floor. Take both arms up and overhead. Notice how that right side feels and then slide the left leg to join the right. Now remember how unwilling that right side was to extend. I wonder if that's changed. If you reach through the toes of the right foot and the fingers, in fact, even picking up the right wrist and lengthening through that right side will be much more softer. That's my word. Less blocked. And then maybe take it to the left side, have a little extension through the left. And then from there, as you slide the legs back, what I want you to do is move the heels. So flex the feet, bend the knees, keep the back of the waist on the floor, and then slide the heels back. One at a time, into semi-supine. Slide the arms around to the side, and then one at a time, draw the knees to the chest, placing the hands in at the back of the knees. And just giving yourself a lovely release into this Apanasana position. Good. Okay, from there, you're going to ease over to the side. You're going to come up and onto all fours, cat position. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. So whichever way you feel you want to start your cat-cow, so it could be extending the chest forward, that little release, extending the tail out, and then moving into the cow, or what I would call, cat, or what I would call angry cat. So do a couple of those. And then from here, the next time you move into your angry cat, stay with it for a second, and then bring the bottom down towards the heels, keeping that masculine and dropping the forehead to the floor. From here, breathing in, roll the elbows out to the side, bring the chest along the floor, rolling the marble, and then sliding the elbows in. This is proximal stability to bring the top chest forward. So exhale, taking your angry cat position. Keep breathing out, bottom to the heels. Bring the forehead to the floor. Inhale, now the elbows are moving out to the side to start with to get the chest through. When the ears reach the thumbs, you're drawing the elbows into the ribs, which is creating your proximal stability to allow you to lengthen the top chest forward. Okay, take one more time like that. And just notice with those elbows into the side ribs, the extension is much more stable. From there, excuse me, I'm going to lift back to my neutral spine position. And from here, I'm just going to tuck my right toes under and slide my right leg out along the floor. So I'm just extending my right leg behind me. Now I'm going to keep that tone through my belly, and I'm going to lift that right leg up in line with the hip and slide the left arm forward to take that Superman position. Keeping that lovely stability through the center of my body, breathing deeply, gazing towards my left thumb. Wonderful. From there, I'm going to release my left hand first, slide my right knee in just to take the weight off my wrists. I'm coming onto my elbows. On my elbows, I'm just going to loosely clasp my hands together, and I'm just going to take some circles in the air with my bottom. And again, just getting some movement, and in the opposite direction. Once I've given the wrists a bit of a breather, I'm going to ease back onto all fours. Tuck the left toes under, slide the left toes out along the floor, and then make sure that I'm lifting. I'm using the front of my body to lift. I might even be able to lift that left leg from the front of my body, and then extend into lovely Superman position, gazing towards the right thumb, opposite arm to leg. couple of breaths there. And then from there, replacing the right hand down, bringing the left knee down, and this time, tucking the toes under and going back into angry cat. So I'm angry catting bottom to heels, keeping my toes tucked under. From here, I'm going to walk my hands a little bit further forward, and I'm going to come into downward facing dog using proximal stability, which means I'm going to use less of my shoulders and more of my core. So instead of moving forward and then lifting up into down dog, I actually want you, if you can, and it's always an experiment, isn't it? Can you lift the front pubis, knit the rib cage together, and start to lift the knees off the floor? Then once the knees are off the floor, don't move the shoulders, but keep sliding the bottom out behind you. Okay, breathe while you're there. Please feel free to walk the dog out. And then drop the knees to the floor. You're back on all fours. We will be doing it again, don't worry. Now, the other thing that I've learned while I've been doing this, so what I am very tempted to do, we're going into high kneeling next. Quite often what I'm tempted to do is just use my knees and just lift up like in a force lift, momentum lift. But actually, what I realised, what is much more enjoyable actually, is if I imagine that I've got a brick between my thighs and I'm lifting that brick up between my thighs, I'm lifting up into my front pubis, and then I'm lifting up through my core rather than through momentum. Just a thought. So everything is lifting from the front body rather than from the back body or from momentum. From here, we're going to do a kneeling salute. So I'm going to take my arms out behind me, inhale, gaze up to the thumbs. As I exhale, I'm going to lower back to child pose, taking my arms behind and turning my head to the right, releasing the left side of my head to the floor. So I'm going to do a few of these, breathing in, taking my arms away behind me, gazing up to the thumbs. And as I exhale, arms behind, and I'm just going to change the turning of the head. So I'm going to go to the opposite side. Okay, I'm going to do 2 more sets. Now think about that core as you lift up into high kneeling. So it's almost that you've got this like power pack from the center part of your body. So instead of using the shoulders, you're powering up through the pelvic floor, powering yourself up into this high kneeling position. Okay, we're going to do 1 more set to each side. Power up. God, was that gladiators that used to do that? I'm showing my age now. Okay, 1 more. And then the next time I power up to high kneeling, I'm going to use that positioning to be able to step 1 leg forward. So I'm going to keep my right knee where it is. I'm going to step my left foot forward to come into a bit of a lunge. It's a bit of a square lunge. Now, interestingly, square lunge, safest lunge we can do, it takes us into runner's lunge. So from here, I'm going to bring my fingertips either side of my front foot, tuck the back toes under, and I'm easing back into this runner lunge position. In this fairly buoyant position, I'm stabilizing through my left foot, through the center of my body. And perhaps, and again, just be careful with this, you could power up. So again, imagine you squeezing the inner thighs together, powering yourself up to high standing lunge. If you can't do that, come up with your hands. It's absolutely fine. From here, I'm going to bring my hands to prayer position. As I exhale, I'm going to turn and twist to the left. And then press the palms out, still lifting up through the front of my pubis. From here, I'm going to take my left hand, I'm not mirroring you, to the back of my right thigh and bring my right arm up alongside of the ear. Keep powering up, try not to collapse. From there, I'm going to ease forward, bring my hands either side of that foot. Now, can you mimic, actually we'll drop the right knee. We'll bring the left knee back to the right knee, so back into cat again. We'll take a masculine to bring the bottom to the heels. Okay, so again, we're going to come into this dog pose. Instead of going forward and then lifting to dog and having to go back, we're going to keep going back. So we're going to power up through the lower pubis, through the rib cage. We're going to lift the knees, and then we're going to take this stabilized dog pose. Okay, from there, we're going back to high kneeling, and we can do it in one foul swoop this time. Up you come, step the right foot forward. Perfect. Good. So from this position, hands either side of the right foot, tuck the back toes under. You're into your running lunge position. Again, if you want to, bring the hands onto the thigh first, or see if you can power up through the groin to put you into high standing lunge. Back heels lifted. Breathing in. As you breathe out, you're going to turn and twist to the right. Press the palms out like Samson. Keep that lift up through the pubis. Bring the right hand to the back of the left thigh and slide the left arm alongside of the ear. From there, we're going to release out. Bring the hands back either side of that front foot. Now from here, you can step back to down dog, but I wonder if you can mimic not having to go forward. So can you bend the back knee, slide the right leg back, so you're not having to use the shoulders so much to take you downward facing dog. Again, feel free just to ease out through the legs. And then from there, soften into the knees, walk the feet forward towards the hands, flatten the back, exhale, fold forward, and then deep bend into the knees. Again, it's a power up, isn't it? Up through the front pubis, take the arms up and out to the side, eventually end up with the hands meeting overhead, and as you exhale, just slide the arms out to the side. Gosh, I'm finally getting warm. So let's put together a little bit of a kind of standing vinyasa sequence. So what we're going to do is we're going to step the feet into this lovely wide position. It's a little bit like we call golden seed. So I've got my feet stepping wide. Remember, we move the feet, we turn the heels in, we turn the heels out, and then we turn the feet from one side to the other. So I'm starting with my feet parallel. I'm going to breathe in, reach my arms up, press the palms together, and as I breathe out, hands come in front of the heart, heels turn in, palms press out. I'm into a bit of a goddess or a dancing Shiva. Then I'm going to breathe in, take my arms up overhead to hold the elbows, turn the heels back out. As I fall forward, I'm lifting up here, right? We did the forward fold, so I'm lifting up from my front pubis, I might come to a flat back. If I need to bend my knees, I can do that. Flat back, and then bring the fingertips to the floor. From here, I'm going to turn my feet to the left. I'm not going to mirror you today because I'll just confuse you. I'm going to bring my left hand to the floor. I'm going to take my right arm out to the side, and I'm going to spin around to the right. Lovely. Then I'm going to change sides. Inhaling, and then exhaling. Inhaling to take the left arm out to the side. Exhaling to twist. Where should you put your head? Think about where the head is. Are you dropping it? Okay, breathe in, come back to the center. Feet parallel, bend the knees. Remember, you gather the energy, you slide it to the heart. Clasp the hands, press the palms up to the sky. Good. So it's a rocking horse. Sorry, no, it's not. It's a drinking bird. So you do drinking bird first, bend the knees. Flow forward, take the arms up behind. Then you take the heels in and sit into rocking horse. Lovely. Do it twice more. Drinking bird. Lift up with that front pubis. Rocking horse. Think about the outside edges of the feet. One more time. Drinking bird. Rocking horse. Now, as you come into rocking horse, you're going to take this into warrior two. So you're going to turn your right heel out, left foot to 90 degrees. I feel very strange, not mirroring you. Warrior two position, where should the head be? Where should the core be? Where should the knee be? From there, turn your left palm to face up, bring the right hand to the right thigh and take that reverse position. Lengthening without dropping the head. From here, you're going to inhale, ease it back to the center. Turn the feet back to parallel and then change sides. Warrior two, bending into your right knee this time. Good. Okay, from there, breathing in, think about the head, the lift of the front pubis. As you breathe out, turn your right palm to face upwards. Keep that head in the same place as you slide the right arm alongside of the ear. You're not dropping the head. You create, imagine you've got that break. Okay, I think I'm going to have to mirror you. Okay, breathing in, come back to the center. From here, you start all over again. So you're going to take the arms out, press the palms together overhead, and as you exhale, press the palms away, bring the heels in, and take goddess. Breathing in, take a hold of the elbows, and as you exhale, turn the heels out, hinge forward. From there, flatten the back, take both feet to the right, right hand to the floor, left arm extends to the side, turn and twist. Back to the center, both feet turn to the left, right arm extends, turn and twist to the right. Lovely job. Good. And release back to the center. Feet parallel, bend the knees, gather the energy, slide it to the chest, extend and press the palms up to the ceiling. Feel the lift in the side waist. From there, release the hands. You're doing a drinking bird, arms up behind, head and neck released. And then a rocking horse, working into the outside edges of the feet. Again, lift that front pubis. Once again, drinking bird. Take that into rocking horse. Sit into your horse one more time. Drink in bed, you're on your own. Lovely. Rocking horse position. Okay, from here, release the arms, but turn, keep the knees bent. Don't keep the knees bent. Lengthen the legs, turn the feet out. So let's take this into a bit of Skandasana. Mag, you probably won't want to do this. So Mag, I think you should just do footballer stretch. So anybody can do footballer stretch if you want to. So I'm just on my right side here. I've got my hands on my thigh and I'm taking football stretch. Either stay here or lower down, bring the hands either side of your front foot, right foot, lift onto the ball of the right foot and slide onto the heel of the left foot. Now again, can you stabilize through the ball of the right foot and the heel of the left foot to lift the front pubis and to, no, you can't, to come into a balance. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm recording this. Okay, I'm changing sides. So I'm going over to footballer stretch first. And then from there, if I want to take it deeper, I'm Skandasana, using the ball of the left foot and the heel of the right foot, lifting up, palms together. Gosh, best laid plans. Well done. Okay, from there, I'm easing back to the center. I'm going to walk my hands back to the front of the mat and I'm going to step back into downward facing dog. Have a little walk out. So we're already getting that vinyasa incorporated. Now, of course, classical vinyasa is sun salute. So let's have a little play with that. Soften into the knees. Walk the feet forward towards the hands. Flatten out into Ardha Uttanasana and then into full Uttanasana. And then from there, slide the arms away behind you, reach into the feet, come into standing, lift up through that front pubis. Palms together and then slide the hands down in front of the heart. So just take a couple of recovery breaths. Deep grounding through the feet. So no sun salute. We're only going to stay with Sphinx though. We're not going to do Cobra. So from this position, I'm going to soften into my knees. I'm going to release my hands, swoop my arms behind, draw those big circles behind me. Open overhead gaze to the thumbs. As I exhale, I'm going to bring my arms out and back again. I'm going to bend my knees and I'm going to fold forward. Head and neck release. Soften the knees. I'm going to breathe in, flatten the back and step back with my right foot. I'm into that lovely lunge position. Now, from this position, before we do a plank, I'm just going to get you to drop your right knee down. So when we think about plank, it really is, it's like cat with one leg out. That's all it is. So from this position, if you think about it, in fact, let's come to cat. Bring the hands down, be in your cat pose with the front of the core lifted. And then tuck your right toes under, slide the right leg out. Keep the core lifted though, so don't drop in the hip. Keep the core lifted and then take the left leg out to join it. So cat with straight legs. Then from there, bend into the knees. And because we're in a little bit of a cat position-ish, we're kind of in between the two, we're going to do a little cat press up. So as I go forward, and if you can do this on your fists, remember, as I go forward with my chest, I'm going to bring my elbows in to support that movement, lowering down, maybe even lifting up. I've got my toes tucked under, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. So you're going forward, but you're keeping that tummy lifted, and then you're lowering. So the shoulders go no lower than the elbows, and then lifting back up again. Okay, can we do one more of those? So forward you go, lower, lift back up. Now we are going to have to go all the way to the floor at this point. So I'm going to go, take my hands a little bit further forward. So I'm more into Ardha Chaturanga, but I've still got to work to zip up my tight trousers, and then eventually to come down to the floor, resting the head on the hands. Once you're there, rock the hips from side to side. So, magnificent movement coming now. Seems very simple, but it's actually quite complex within the body. Going to tuck the left toes under, reach, activate into the left heel and lift the left thigh and knee from the floor. I'm going to get you to hold that for 20 seconds. So you've got quite a lot of different activation going on here. Almost there's an activation through the back of the leg so that you can soften the hip. And then release. Checking out the difference between left and right leg, and then doing the same thing on the right side. Right toes tuck under, lift right thigh and knee, breathe deeply. Activate back of leg, but release hip. Wonderful. For the psoas, for the pelvis, and to a degree for back pain. Okay, I'm going to release that right leg. Relax the legs a little bit, but instead of thinking about relaxing, and again, I don't want you to do this, but I just want you to visualize. I'm just going to take my brick here, and I'm just going to slide it in between my thighs. I just want you to visualize that that's what you've done. So before you lift up into any sort of back bend, you're coming onto the front, the tops of the feet, and rolling the inner thighs together. Once you've done that, because the inner thighs access the pelvic floor, you can lift with the pelvic floor, you can zip up your tight jeans, and eventually bring yourself into Sphinx with all that activity going on, lengthening out. If it's not possible, don't do it. From there, you're going to release back down. I'm just going to release my brick. I'm going to bring my hands to the floating ribs, not under the shoulders. I want my elbows to go back to provide proximal stability at my rib cage. Then from there, I might be able to lift up with my front pubis, knit my rib cage together and help the lift. So it's not just coming out of my shoulders. Tuck the toes under. You've got that lovely way of getting into down dog, hovering the knees and lifting the bottom. And breathe for 4. For 3. For 2. And for one, at this point, you could walk the feet back to the hands. So if you wanted to work a little bit harder, take your right leg into three-legged dog, balancing the right heel in line, in an active diagonal line to the left shoulder. And then from here, slide that right knee to the chest and step the foot through. You've got to really lift up with the core to do that. Then step the feet in, flatten the back, fold forward, bend into the knees, swoop the arms, power up to standing, gaze up to the thumbs, and as you exhale, slide the hands down in front of the heart. Brilliant. Let's do the same on the other side. Soften into the knees, swoop the arms away, big circles, gaze up to the thumbs. As you exhale, circle the arms back, bend the knees, fall forward, fingertips in line with the toes, head and neck released, flatten the back, stride the left leg back. Okay, can you keep that buoyancy in the hips as you take plank pose? Then from there, you're going to drop the knees down. Okay, now it's a bit like the press up, isn't it? Keep the lower belly lifted, move the chest forward, bend into the elbows, but elbows into the ribs for stability, and then just take that extra bit of lowering down. Head rests on the hands. Rock the hips from side to side. And then rather than letting the legs roll out, I know it's very tempting to let the legs roll out, so you're on the little toe side of the feet. Draw the legs in towards each other so that you're on the fronts of the thighs, the tops of the thighs, and the tops of the feet. Then you've got access to lift up through the inner thighs, to engage with the lower belly, to lift into the rib cage and eventually end up in Sphinx. Now at this point, if you feel you want to do a bit more, absolutely fine for you to come into seal, which means all you're going to do is reach into the hands and float the elbows off the floor without lifting the shoulders to the ears. And then from there, wherever you are, you're going to release back to the floor. Okay, this is what I love, hands by the floating ribs. So try and help the shoulders by lifting up with the lower belly, releasing the bottom back to the heels, and then peeling into downward facing dog. For 4. For 3. For 2. And 1. Good. Walk the feet forward towards the hands, or three-legged dog with the left leg. And then slide the left knee to the chest and step the left foot through between the hands. Joining the people who have walked into Ardha Uttanasana, full Uttanasana, and then soften into the knees, swoop the arms up and out to the side, press the palms together, and as you exhale, slide the hands down in front of the heart. So, vinyasa with proximal stability. So, I thought we'd just complete that. We're going to do tree, but it's very much up to you how far you want to take it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the back of my mat. So, if you come to the back of the mat, you're going to do the test balance walk. So you're going to take your right heel and place it in front of your left big toe. You're going to do 4 steps. So this is 1, 2, 3. This is good. 4. Okay, as you step onto your left foot, ground through the left foot. Soften the knee a little bit and bring the right knee up in front. Now your choice, you can either take the foot into the inner shin, or you can bring the right foot into the left inner thigh and hold it. So you're connecting with the hand to the ankle, and then you could take your left arm up. If you're doing a different tree, like the ankle tree, obviously you're not going to be able to reach for the foot. It's too far away. So ankle tree or holding the foot tree. Good. Okay, release the left arm. Step the right foot back to the floor. In fact, you're going to step the right toes behind the left heel. For 1. Step back again for 2. For 3. 4. And then you're actually going to have to step onto the right foot, because we balanced on the left foot before. So bend into that right knee, lift the left leg in front. This might be as far as you want to go. Or bring the left foot inside of the right inner thigh or shin. Or even hold the left foot. So you've got that connection of the foot to the thigh, and then you can always take the arms into any position you feel comfortable with. Be careful. Good. Okay, from there, release, slide and release with the foot. Take a little walk out with the feet. Just making sure there's no residual tension there. And maybe just step the feet a little bit wider and just ease in to that lovely circles with the hips and in the opposite direction. Good. Okay, so as we come to the floor, I'm going to get you to roll down. So you're going to bend into the knees, clasp the hands behind the head. You're going to draw the elbows to the midline, just like we did earlier on. Ribs to the midline. Slowly peel down. Keep bending the knees, creating space into the back. Eventually ending up hands and knees, and then slide the feet back. So what I was going to get you to do was take a little position for a short meditation and then move into relaxation. So if you want to pop your warm clothes on, now if you'd rather do the whole thing lying on your back, I completely understand, that's absolutely fine as well. Or if you are able to sit or kneel, you can do that for, I don't know, it's probably about 5 minutes. But I understand if you want to lie down. If you're going to lie down, if you want to be comfortable for your back, by all means, place your feet on a brick or a block. If you're happy sitting, please feel free to sit. Now it's a bit like we started with, it's a bit of a breathing exercise. So once you've got yourself into a comfortable position, you're just going to allow your eyes to close, feel the length into the spine, and just take a few deep breaths. So for this meditation, I want you to, in your mind's eye, visualize an empty room. A room of your choice. It could be a room with windows, without windows. Could be outdoors, indoors, whatever you want it to be. And then from here, I want you to take a deep exhale. And as you inhale, take your awareness to the upper left-hand corner of your room. Then I want you to move that awareness to the upper right corner and hold the breath. As you move into the lower right corner with your awareness, you can release the breath, exhale. And then as you come to the lower left corner, relax and smile. So it's like you're drawing a square with your breath. So breathe in, move to the upper left corner of your mind. Take the awareness to the upper right corner and hold the breath. Awareness to the lower right corner, breathe out. Awareness to the lower left corner, smile and relax. Can you do that? I'll take you through it one more time. Breathe into upper right corner of your room. Breathe out, hold the breath in the upper right corner. Breathe out in the lower right corner. And smile and relax in the lower left corner. Breathe in, upper left. Hold, upper right. Breathe out, lower right. Smile and release, lower left. Couple more times. After your next full round, move from sitting to any of your positions for relaxation. If you prefer to stay sitting, please do. You ease yourself into this section of the practice. Observe how you are feeling. Notice the relationship of the body to the earth and the body to the breath. Allow yourself to surrender to this feeling of being. of observing. And as you're observing yourself, just contemplate the following quote. We have always believed that we are humans having a spiritual experience. But what if we were spirits having a human experience? As we draw our spiritual selves back into our human experience, notice perhaps that you feel that you've got to get back into your body. You've got to stabilize it. Maybe move it, maybe stretch it. And then eventually ease yourselves into knees to chest if you haven't already. No rush. Just feel that little release as you rock from side to side. And then that gentle roll over into the fetal position. So you can ease yourself up and into sitting. Just pausing for a moment. We're just going to finish off with a really gentle breath. So what I'm going to ask you to do as you exhale is to drop the chin to the chest and to clasp the hands behind the back. As you inhale, you're going to take 3 deep breaths in the belly. So breathe in and breathe out. Twice more. Last one. And as you breathe out, release the hands. Breathe in to roll the arms in the shoulder joints to make that circle up and around eventually gazing up to the thumbs, so that as you breathe out, you can seal the practice down through the third eye, to the lips and the throat, and to the heart. And of course, Namaste means the spirit within me bows to the spirit within you. Well done. As we move back into our